In a world where real estate often whispers wealth, the Trump family has never been one to whisper. Their homes don't just suggest success, they shout it from rooftops trimmed in gold leaf. This is not about owning property, this is about constructing a legend, square foot by square foot. These aren't just houses, they are monuments. Monuments to ambition, opulence, and the unwavering belief that more is never enough. Welcome to a universe where ceilings reach the heavens, kitchens shimmer with imported marble, and chandeliers drip like frozen fireworks. From Manhattan's glittering skyline to Florida's sun-soaked coastlines, the Trump family portfolio is less of a housing list and more of an architectural opera. Composed in Gaggenau appliances, Louis XIV inspiration, and 24-karat declarations. You're not just stepping into rooms, you're stepping into history as seen through a golden lens. Every residence a chapter, every chandelier a footnote, every estate a stage. Because for the Trumps, real estate is theater. And in this show, subtlety is the villain, and spectacle is the hero. So buckle up, or perhaps silk up, as we take you behind the gilded doors of America's most talked about family. Because this isn't just an inside look. This is inside the Trump family's luxury houses, where excess doesn't just wear a crown, it built the castle. Let's begin at the top, quite literally, with a New York penthouse so opulent, even Louis XIV might have blushed. High above the humming chaos of Fifth Avenue, nestled atop the iconic Trump Tower, is a residence so indulgent, it makes Versailles look modest. A 10,000 square foot triplex penthouse that defies restraint in every square inch. This is where Donald Trump once surveyed Manhattan like a golden eagle in his glittering perch. And no, that's not just a metaphor. Even the air vents here are gilded in 24-karat gold leaf. From the moment you step inside, subtlety is nowhere to be found. The interiors are a fever dream of crystal chandeliers, frescoed ceilings, and arabescado Corchia marble surfaces so pristine, they could double as altars to capitalism itself. The space is a love letter to Louis XIV, signed in precious stone and sealed in gold. If King Midas ever took up interior design, this is the kind of place he'd create on his most inspired day. The kitchen isn't just functional, it's ceremonial. Outfitted with Gaggenau and Sub-Zero appliances, it's a place where even heating up leftovers becomes a lavish event. The countertops alone likely cost more than an average American house, and that's before you factor in the lighting, which is less mood and more money-colored ambiance. Then there's the master suite, draped in pink Rosa Macchiavecchia marble and bathed in sunlight. It stretches across a floor like an operatic crescendo. Adjoining it is a sun-drenched lounge with a view of Central Park that flattens the city into a personal chessboard, a perspective where every tree, tower, and taxi seems to play by your rules. And lest you think the extravagant stops with the family quarters, think again. The third floor is reserved for guests, staff, and children. Though reserved is a rather humble term, it's more like a five-star hotel perched on top of another five-star hotel, with perhaps another five-star hotel on top of that. Valued at over $100 million, this penthouse isn't just a home, it's a vertical manifesto, a shimmering skyscraper of intent that says, modesty is for those who can't afford marble, and minimalism is merely a synonym for missed opportunity. But while Trump Tower reaches for the clouds, another Trump masterpiece stretches luxuriously across the Florida coast. A place where palm trees salute golden gates and diplomacy unfolds beneath chandeliers. Let's head to Mar-a-Lago. Rising from Palm Beach like a sun-drenched colossus, Mar-a-Lago isn't merely a mansion, it's a coronation. A 126-room Mediterranean revival that spills from the Atlantic to the Lake Worth Lagoon. It's as if a Spanish seaside monastery had a love child with a billionaire's fever dream. When serial heiress Marjorie Merriweather Post built it in 1927, she envisioned grandeur. But when Donald Trump acquired it in 1985 for a bargain $10 million, he didn't just see a mansion. He saw a stage. And what a performance it became. True to form, Trump did what any showman mogul hybrid would do. He installed a 20,000 square foot ballroom coated in $7 million worth of gold leaf. a room so ostentatiously gilded that Versailles might demand royalties. Every corner gleams with antique opulence. Every ceiling soars to near chapel heights, and the entire estate pulses with the rhythm of wealth, power, and calculated pageantry. By 1995, Mar-a-Lago was no longer just a private residence. It was a private club. The logic? Why keep such magnificence to yourself when you can monetize admiration? Suddenly, billionaires, political elites, and global socialites were paying top dollar just to bask in the glow of Trump's seaside empire. The address became a password, the brand, a currency. Then came the presidency, and with it, the transformation of Mar-a-Lago into the winter White House. Security measures turned the estate into a tropical Fort Knox. Foreign dignitaries conducted international affairs in between golf swings. History unfolded under chandeliers imported from Europe and against walls echoing with old-world ambition. Inside, the 42-foot ceilings of the main living room preside over antique Cuban tiles and furnishings fit for a Roman cardinal. The dining room, inspired by Rome's Chigi Palace, seats 34, perfect for those intimate dinners where a Supreme Court nominee might be discussed over the soup course. Valued today at over $160 million, Mar-a-Lago isn't just real estate, it's a piece of American political theater. A setting where power, privilege, and palm trees converge in a way that only the Trump name could orchestrate. If Mar-a-Lago is Trump's stage for spectacle, his Seven Springs estate is the family's private retreat, a country kingdom hidden in the hills of New York, where ambition trades gold for stone, but never dials down the grandeur. Tucked into the emerald sprawl of Westchester County, New York, lies a property that doesn't scream wealth. It murmurs it with the deep, deliberate cadence of old money and architectural mastery. Welcome to Seven Springs, 213 acres of rolling hills, pristine woods, and whispering ambition. Originally built in 1919 by Eugene Meyer, a man who chaired the Federal Reserve and owned the Washington Post, the estate was conceived not just as a home, but as a monument to permanence. With 60 rooms carved into a sprawling Tudor-style mansion and stonework shaped by 500 Italian stonemasons, the place feels less like a residence and more like an ode to craftsmanship itself. When Trump acquired the estate in '96 for $75 million, he didn't just buy a house, he purchased a legacy. And then, as is his way, he set about rebranding that legacy in his image. Spanning 3 towns and dotted with trails, gardens, and meadows, Seven Springs is less of a backyard and more of a dominion. The 50,000 square foot mansion includes 15 bedrooms and design details that would make modern contractors weep with envy. There's an indoor pool, multiple outdoor terraces, and stone fireplaces so large you could roast an ox in them, should the occasion call for it. And the details? Oh, they're delicious. A Tudor-style guest house built by none other than H.J. Heinz, yes, the ketchup king himself, adds a condiment-flavored footnote to the estate's aristocratic charm. The grounds include not 1, not 2, but 3 swimming pools, as if to emphasize that this isn't just a retreat, it's a recreation empire. Trump had once envisioned turning Seven Springs into a luxury golf course, but local resistance blocked the dream. So instead, the estate became a Trump family playground, a verdant training ground where Eric Trump spent summers mowing fields and chopping trees, learning the value of hard work under the soft shadow of multi-million-dollar mansions. Today, the estate is worth over $24 million, and it remains one of the family's most private holdings, not just a home, but a haven, a counterpoint to the gold-plated glamour of Manhattan or the sun-soaked drama of Palm Beach. Here, wealth trades its neon lights for quiet gravitas, though the marble still glows just as brightly. While Westchester holds the echoes of East Coast prestige, the next chapter of the Trump family dynasty is unfolding under a different kind of light, the golden hue of Florida sunshine. And it begins with a younger Trump carving out his own kingdom, one Tuscan stone at a time, in the manicured luxury of Jupiter, Florida, where mansions nestle inside gated communities like pearls behind private gates. Eric and Laura Trump have found their own slice of paradise. And as one might expect from the Trump lineage, this isn't just any Florida residence. It's a carefully sculpted sanctuary of status, sunlight, and strategic positioning. Purchased for $3.2 million, their estate sits at 502 Bald Eagle Drive, a name that practically winks at patriotic symbolism. The 7715 square foot villa marries Tuscan charm with Floridian opulence, blending old-world textures with modern muscle. Built in 2004, it boasts 5 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms, making compromise not just unnecessary but unthinkable. Inside, elegance comes layered. Dual master suites, because of course there are 2, ensure that no wardrobe needs suffer from spatial neglect. The safe room tucked quietly behind reinforced walls reminds us that even in paradise, the Trumps plan like generals. And why not? In a family where real estate is chess, security is never just an afterthought. It's part of the board. Outside, the home reads like a boutique resort. A sparkling pool glints beneath the Florida sun, while a full outdoor kitchen and cabana bath encourage al fresco living with a side of luxury. Here, entertaining isn't an option, it's expected. The layout all but insists on cocktail hours that blur into fundraisers, or family barbecues that end with political strategy beneath the stars. The previous owners, Robert and Natalie Lucia, paid $2.4 million for the property in 2013. One imagines them smiling quietly as the Trump brand added a few zeros to their resale value. Because in Jupiter, just being next to a Trump might boost your bottom line. But owning the largest mansion in the enclave? That's a flex. And of course, location is everything. Their residence sits just 5 miles from Donald Jr.'s own Florida fortress, and just minutes from the Trump National Golf Club, a course that, not coincidentally, was purchased by Donald Trump in 2012 and promptly transformed into another jewel in the family's golden crown. This isn't just a home, it's a message, a declaration that the next generation of Trumps isn't content to live in the shadow of the Manhattan skyline. They're building new empires in the glow of the Sunshine State. If Eric's Tuscan villa is a statement of refined taste, then Donald Trump Jr.'s Florida fortress is a thunderous anthem of power, privacy, and pedigree. Located in Admiral's Cove, one of the most elite gated communities in Jupiter, Don Jr. and fiancée Kimberly Guilfoyle's $9.7 million estate doesn't just occupy space, it commands it. Sprawled across 1.2 acres at the end of a cul-de-sac, the 1,300 square foot waterfront mansion is both a trophy and a stronghold. This is the kind of place where you can land a boat, host a gala, and never see your neighbors, unless, of course, they're celebrities. Previous residents in this exclusive enclave include names like Celine Dion and Yankees legend Mike Schmidt. Here, stardom is just another feature listed on the brochure. The mansion itself offers 6 bedrooms and a jaw-dropping 11 bathrooms. Because when you're hosting political donors, blended family members, media personalities, and a security detail, you simply cannot have people waiting in line. 2 master suites guarantee harmony in the home, while the open-concept kitchen, complete with a glassed-in dining area, is tailor-made for power breakfasts where deals are served up with avocado toast and PR strategy. But this is more than just a place to live. It's a place to operate. The private gym, game room, and office suite suggest that Don Jr. isn't retreating from the spotlight. He's repositioning. This home wasn't just purchased for comfort, it was chosen as a headquarters, a launch pad, a fortress of visibility from behind the veil of exclusivity. From the upstairs terraces, the view stretches out over shimmering canal waters, an aesthetic that whispers calm even as the home bristles with purpose. There's a marina a short stroll away, and 45 holes of championship golf within a sand wedge's reach. Admiral's Cove isn't just secure, it's strategic, and that's exactly the point. The property's value has nearly tripled since 1995, when it was purchased for just $3.5 million. That's the Trump effect, a name that doesn't just fill headlines, it inflates property values. The moment Don Jr. moved in, the mansion became more than a piece of real estate. It became part of a portfolio, a growing empire of Florida assets under the Trump name. Situated just 5 miles from Eric's home and less than a 20-minute drive from Mar-a-Lago, Don Jr.'s mansion forms one corner of a golden triangle of family power. Florida's East Coast has quietly, or not so quietly, become the Trump dynasty's new capital. Manhattan may have been the origin story, but Florida? Florida is the future. And it's not just about individual homes. What we're witnessing is a geographic strategy, a full-blown relocation of power, wealth, and influence to the Sunshine State. Let's connect the dots and watch the rise of what locals are now calling Trump Town. It started as a ripple, a penthouse here, a golf course there, but now it's a tidal shift. The Trump family is no longer just relocating, they're realigning. From Manhattan's marble corridors to Florida's gold-laced coastlines, a quiet migration has become a bold takeover. And the epicenter? Jupiter, Florida, or as locals have begun to call it, Trump Town. Within a few square miles, you'll find Mar-a-Lago, the golden stage of Trumpian diplomacy. You'll find Eric and Laura's Tuscan dreamscape, and you'll find Don Jr.'s waterfront fortress. Owned within a 15-minute drive, all fortified, gilded, and perfectly positioned within the family orbit, the Sunshine State is no longer a winter escape, it's home base. But this isn't just about sunshine and swimming pools. Florida is a tax haven, a political battleground, and a public relations goldmine, all wrapped into one. No state income tax, a booming luxury real estate market, and a deep red base that adores the Trump brand. For a family that blends politics with property like caviar on toast, it's a match made in strategist's heaven. It's no accident that the Trump National Golf Club in Jupiter, bought from Ritz-Carlton in 2012, now serves as a golden artery running through the family's new empire. It offers members more than a course. It offers proximity, access, alignment. It's where business cards exchange hands over backswings and future campaigns take shape on the 9th green. And as more members of the dynasty stake their claims across Florida, Ivanka and Jared in Indian Creek, Tiffany in Miami, the blueprint becomes clear. This isn't a coincidence. It's a consolidation, a coastal rebranding. Because when your brand is power and your product is influence, location isn't just lifestyle, it's leverage. Together, these properties form more than a real estate portfolio. They form a political map, a family stronghold, a dynasty re-rooted in sand, palm trees, and sunlight. Before the gilded penthouse and the red baseball cap, before Mar-a-Lago became a diplomatic playground and Trump Tower became a vertical fortress, before the world knew him simply as the Donald, there was a family, and not just any family. The Trump dynasty was forged through ambition, immigration, reinvention, and no small amount of concrete and controversy. To understand the scale of Trump family wealth today, the real estate portfolios, the branding empires, the political reach, we have to journey backwards. Way back, to a small village in Bavaria where a boy named Friedrich Trump boarded a ship with no fortune but plenty of fire. This isn't just a rags to riches story, this is a multi-generational blueprint for domination. And like all great American myths, it begins with a gamble. The year was 1885 and the United States was still finding its voice. Into this chaotic chorus arrived Friedrich Trump, a 16-year-old boy from Karlstadt, Germany. He carried no money, no English, and no certainty. What he did carry was something far more potent, an entrepreneurial itch that couldn't be ignored. Friedrich landed first in New York City, working as a barber. But it was the West, wild, lawless, and teeming with miners, that called to him. In a move that would foreshadow the Trump family playbook, Friedrich followed the gold rush. And where others sought precious metal, he built the infrastructure around it. In the Yukon, Friedrich Trump didn't mine for gold, he mined for opportunity. He opened restaurants and boarding houses along the White Pass Trail, offering hot food, warm beds, and allegedly a few other services to lonely miners. Was it a hotel? Was it a brothel? The records are ambiguous, but the money was very real. When he returned to New York a few years later, Friedrich Trump was no longer an immigrant with a dream. He was a man with cash and a vision. Enter Frederick Christ Trump, born in 1905, the American-born son of Friedrich. Where his father had gambled in the frontier, Fred played the long game in the boroughs. He was shrewd, methodical, and obsessed with scale. Fred Trump didn't build skyscrapers. He built foundations, both literal and figurative. Working first with his mother, he constructed single-family homes in Queens and Brooklyn. But it was during World War II that his empire truly expanded. With government subsidies flowing to build housing for returning soldiers, Fred Trump built entire neighborhoods. He was a developer with a spreadsheet for a soul, but a vision for volume. His projects were rarely glamorous, but they were profitable. Veterans moved in, families grew, rent checks came like clockwork. By the 1950s, Fred was one of the largest landlords in New York. And yet, despite his success, he stayed out of the spotlight. No interviews, no flash, just brick, mortar, and money. But his son would be different. Fred Trump taught his son two things: build with the other people's money and never stop expanding. Donald took those lessons and wrapped them in gold. Donald Trump wasn't interested in brick and vinyl homes in Brooklyn. He wanted Manhattan. He wanted marble lobbies, revolving doors, and his name in 10-foot letters. In the 1980s, he exploded onto the real estate scene like a Wall Street firework, all swagger, suits, and spectacle. Trump Tower was his temple, the Plaza Hotel, his playground. Atlantic City became his canvas for casinos. And then came the jets, the books, the tabloid marriages, the TV show. But for all the flashbulbs and magazine covers, Donald Trump's true genius wasn't real estate. It was branding. He didn't just build buildings. He licensed his name to other people's buildings. And that name, Trump, became shorthand for luxury, confidence, and controversy. He turned his father's regional fortune into a global identity. And when the market crashed, he rebranded again. Bankruptcy? Call it a strategic reset. Critics? Fake news. He didn't just survive downturns, he weaponized them. By the 2000s, Trump was no longer just a businessman. He was a living brand. And in 2016, he did the unthinkable. He turned that brand into a presidency. In a world where fortunes are fleeting and fame evaporates with the algorithm, the Trump family has crafted something far more enduring: permanence. Not just in policies or poll numbers, but in palaces, in square footage, in the relentless pursuit of legacy etched into marble, gold leaf, and property lines that double as power plays. From a Bavarian barber's chair to a Manhattan skyline. From boarding houses in the Yukon to presidential banquets beneath crystal chandeliers. The Trump story is not simply about money. It's about the myth of money. The belief that you can build your name into a brand, your brand into a kingdom, and your kingdom into an ideology. Love them or loathe them, one thing is certain. The Trumps don't just occupy space, they claim it, towering, glimmering, and unapologetically theirs. And so, as the doors of these luxury houses close behind us, and the golden glow fades into Florida sunsets and Manhattan moonlight, the story doesn't end here. Because in the world of the Trumps, every property is a new chapter, and the dynasty, it seems, is still very much under construction. Which of the Trump family's homes left the biggest impression on you? Was it the Versailles in the sky penthouse or the diplomatic grandeur of Mar-a-Lago? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget, subscribe to my channel for more journeys through the gold-plated corridors of power and privilege. Until next time, keep your taste grand and your ceilings high.